Hello everyone, welcome to Hans Tech Lab. In the previous videos, we learned how to create a Spring Boot project and how to run it. In this video, we will understand a specific issue which is failed to configure a data source, which we may often get while working with the Spring Boot project. So now, first we will understand what is the reason of this error, why it occurs, and then how to resolve it. As you know, we are working along with the Maven for the Spring Boot, and to install any dependency, we have to add the dependencies in the pom.xml. So now, in order to connect to the database, we may need a couple of dependencies in the Spring Boot. One of them is MySQL. For example, we are connecting with MySQL database. We need MySQL connector dependency. And in general, to connect with any database, to work along with any database, we may need Spring Boot Starter Data JPA, which is Persistence API, Java Persistence API. We will learn more about this in the upcoming videos. So now I have added those dependencies, and again, if I try to run this project, okay, it got started because even though I have added the dependencies, I haven't synced it. Let me sync it. As you can see, it is building again. Let me stop and start. Now, as we have added the dependencies and we have synced the dependencies, you can see here the application has not been started and it got failed. And the reason is failed to configure a data source. Now, how to resolve this? So there are few ways to resolve this one. Actually, when Spring Boot, when in Spring Boot, when we add dependency, as Spring Boot has so many configurations, it will ease the developer by giving automatic configurations. So now, when we add a dependency, it will look for its configuration in the application.properties. As you can see in the application.properties, there is no data source database related configuration. The first thing what we will do is we will try to resolve this by giving its required data source properties. For example, URL, username, password, and driver. I have just copied a few from a source. Now I'll just change them as per my database. Now my username of database, which is root in my machine, and password is also root. I will keep the driver as it is and I will save it, and I will just clear this and run this. As you can see, the application got started. You can see here started first project application in 4.5 seconds. This is one way. There is one more way. I will just remove this, and there is one more way, which is application.yml. I will just create a file application.yml, and I will add the configuration in this YML file. So here also I will just make the changes as per my project and my database. As you can see, if you can observe, the properties are same. Just here, we just had given in this format in the application.properties, and here we have given in this format. I'll just comment this. To comment, we can just give one hash here and save this one, and application.yml also ready. Now let me clear this and run again. As you can see, this also got worked. The application has been started. I will clear this again, and now this is the second way. For instance, I don't want to configure in application.properties or application.yml. Let me first delete this YML file, and also I have commented here. There is one more way, which is configuring through Java. So now I will create a Java file called Java class called DataSource config, and I will annotate it with @configuration. Let me import this one. Now I will create a method get data source, and I will call the return type as get data source. I'll just create here public data source get data source. Just import this data source and open and close braces. Now there is a data source builder which I will import now, and then we have a dot create method, and I will just give the dot driver class name, which is com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Then I will give the URL as per my machine's DB, and then I will give username, which is root. Then I will give password, which is also root. Then I will just build it. That's all. Now I will just annotate this with @bean, so that it will load during the startup itself. So it is throwing some error. So actually we have to return this. Now let me save this. As you can see, there is in the application.properties we have commented everything, and also application.yml we have deleted. Now it should pick from this data source config file. I am stopping this existing run, and again I'm trying to run it. As you can see, the application got started in 4.5 seconds. Let me stop this. For instance, we are not ready with the database, and we don't have database, either internal or external. So in that case, let me first comment this, or at least delete this file. And now, as you know, it will not run, because neither we have application.properties, nor we have application.yml, or nor we have the data source config. So we we don't want to just connect with the database, and we are not ready yet with the database. Then there is one more way, which is excluding the data source auto configuration, which can be done in three ways. First one is we can add a property in application.properties, which is spring.autoconfigure.exclude. We have to give org.springframework.boot. Let me show you. autoconfigure.jdbc.dataSource auto configuration. So now let us run again. We are here excluding this data source auto configuration. As you can see here, again it got started. Let me clear this and stop this. I am commenting this to show one more way to perform this operation, which is in the application.yml file. So I am creating the application.yml file again, and giving the same exclude configuration in this application.yml format. So here you can see spring auto configure. I am excluding it. What I am excluding? Data source auto configuration. I am excluding. I'm saving this, and let me clean this and run again. You can see here this property I have commented. So this will not work. So this is working now. You can see here it has started the first project application. Let me stop this. Finally, there is one more way how to handle this, which is excluding from the Spring Boot application main class. So here is the, so here, let me first clean this. And here we can just give exclude data source auto configuration dot class, and this should also work. As you can see, the first project application has been started. So let us summarize this video. First thing is, in Spring Boot, sometimes we get failed to configure data source error. Then how to resolve it? There are two ways. One is defining the data source either through application.properties with these properties, or in using the application.yml, or using the Java configuration. Second one is, if we don't want to use the properties, then just excluding them with this application.property, or using this application.yml, or with this excluding here from the main class of Spring Boot application. Hope you understood. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and please share the video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.